We're here at the Southern National Motorsports Park for the SwagRapsOnline.com American iRacing League presented by Reaper Speed Labs. The racing schedule tonight on Swag TV, we have the DRS Racing Legends Series for 30 laps, the Team 126 Racing Late Models for 60 laps, and finishing out the night, we have the Everything iRacing on Facebook Super Late Model Series for 100 laps. Before you forget, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell to catch more live races on Swag TV. I'm your host, David Polens. Let's get ready for some racing action on Swag TV. Right now, guys, we got the Legends cars out here doing some practice laps. We got Ryan Matthews right now sitting. Actually, I believe we're in qualifying already. We have Ryan Matthews sitting on the pole so far, followed by Tyler Payne, our American iRacing League director, so far in second place. Ryan Matthews, it seems as though he did not like that first lap. He may be starting it over to get a better run. Got some classy drivers through the field tonight. We have Tyler Lester, who is actually a local Legends racer. He has won the RPM Southeast Legends Series before. He's won the watch tonight. And of course, Ryan Matthews is a champion at the Langley Speedway. Parker Retzlaff, his nickname's got to be Mr. Moneybags, because all I know about him is he keeps winning these big money races, including these AiRL series races. But he's put up $8,500 he won in 1 week with the ERA Racing Association. And between that and the Snowball Derby and the Winter Nationals here with the American iRacing League, he is definitely one of your guys to watch. I believe it's one of the first races he'll be running with us this season. He dominated several times throughout the season, past few seasons with the American iRacing League. That's Jackson Crowder out there in that 541. He is just sat in the top 3 position, followed by Tyler Payne and Tyler Lester. Lester sitting on the edge of your top 5. Thomas Axum, another popular iRacer, he's in the field tonight in 6th. Last year's Langley late model stock car champion Brandon Queen starting right now from the 7th position. As you can see, this field stretched over just 0.2 of a second. Got Dustin Momberquet in the 7th spot. Back here we got Massman and Moorcroft rounding out the back end of the field. They hope to improve their lap before it's over. That's Edwards there. He's up in the top 4 now. That bumps Lester from that top 5 position and puts Payne on the bubble. With that 481 to sit in the top 5 of tonight's racing action. Still holding strong on the pole is Ryan Matthews. He's got a 15.398. Close to good for the pole for that big $1,000 to win Winter National race earlier this year. Got some guys doing a little trickery here on the qualifying run, either heating up the brakes or heating up the tires. They like to skid them around, get the tires warmed up, and get some good laps here at Southern National. It's not a lot of grip, so beforehand, a lot of these guys take a lap, get the heat in it, and then really go after it either on lap 2 or late on that lap 1. Got a big field tonight, over 20 cars in the American iRacing League. Just about done here with qualifying. We'll be getting ready for our racing action in just a moment. 30 laps once again, brought to you by the Dreamer Racing Series. Check them out, www.dreamerracingseries.com. The setups here in American iRacing League, why you see these guys able to hold on to these machines sideways and fast as could be. I mean, this is some of the fastest time, even on the official side, is brought to you by Reaper Speed Lab. You can check out their stuff online. I am actually religiously running Reaper Speed Lab here the past 2 seasons and have had nothing but success with them. Won a lot of iRaces. I'm going to have to add it up, but they bring some great setups to you, very affordable, on their website, reaperspeedlab.com, or on the Facebook page at Reaper Speed Lab. All right, guys, we're getting ready for 30 laps here, the Legends cars. And in just a moment, we'll be going green flag. I'll be right back in about 30 seconds as we take a quick break. All right, we're back here with the Dreamer Racing Series Legends cars. Got about 30 laps of action coming to you in just a moment. One of our favorite tracks to come to is the Southern National Motorsports Park. We're going to give you a rundown through the field here for our starting lineup. Starting first, Ryan Matthews, and in second, Mr. Moneybags himself, Parker Retzlaff. Starting third, he's won several races already with the American iRacing League, Jackson Crowder. And fourth, Austin Edwards. And squeaking out in the top 5 is Tyler Payne. Starting sixth, we have Thomas Axum, and somebody to keep an eye on is Timmy Holmes. He's one of our regulars, has been running very good, running up front here in this series. Then followed by seventh, Tyler Lester and Thomas Axum, rounded out to row 4. Brandon Queen sitting in ninth, which is a big surprise. He's very good on iRacing, got a high I rating, but didn't quite get the qualifying time he was looking for. He'll be followed by Eric Gordon in that 10th position. And 11th, Dustin Momperquet, and then Joel Smith. We have to surprise him. We are sponsored by Mike Hess Racing tonight. The Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. Some exciting stuff. Mike Hess was a local quarter-mile drag racer. Actually ran all over the country. He holds several records. One of his most favorite passions were watching his grandsons, Joel and Jake, both race. He really enjoyed that. We got to just say, this is in memory of Mike Hess as we take the green flag here at Southern National. Here we go. They're headed into one. We got Ryan Matthews on the front as we're 2x2 all the way through the field. Third there, Jackson Crowder tries to follow through. Payne now squeezed into the bottom as Matthews gets loose. That's going to take 2 big competitors out of the front of the field. Ryan Matthews wads it up and takes out Parker Retzlaff in the time being, man. Wow, that's a big surprise. 2 of the best in the business here in iRacing. Tear it up here. Let's see what happens here on our Team 126 Racing replay. And a barely touch there, and Matthews overcorrects. I'll say it looks like Matthews gets a little tight, and Parker's there, and they just get together, kind of a racing accident, and these cars are so unforgiving. It doesn't look like, though, just too much damage after that wreck. But big-time surprise here for Ryan Matthews and Parker Retzlaff. They're going to have to try to come through this field. Last season, I would have been hoping for that when Ryan ended up winning the title. I was running third. I needed something like that to happen. Unfortunately, Matthews gets called up in that mess. It could have some big points implications, too. Tyler Payne, it looks like he's going to be lucking out on this. He's known as our leader here on lap 3. Once again, this is in honor of Mike Hess, one of the great drag racers. He was a Pontiac drag racer, raced all over the Midwest. He has one of the fastest Pontiacs in the country, and his later years raced turbocharged Hayabusas on the quarter mile. Pretty cool stuff about Mike Hess. Big outdoors man. Just reading up on him tonight as we're big, good friends with Joel Smith. We'll have to keep an eye on him as he sits in the 12th position. But I promise you this, kid's got talent. We practice with him on a regular basis, and we've seen it. He can run times with the best of them. He's won several official races, and I know he also actually runs Reaper Speed Lab setups whenever he can. But we're stacking them up, getting ready. Got them 2x2. Got quite a mix-up in the front of the field here. We'll have to break down the racing order once the green flag comes out. The green flag is out. Jackson Crowder was on your pole there on the restart. Payne stuck to the outside. He started in 4th. He's going to try to get down to the bottom of this racetrack. Is not. Oh, and they go 3 wide. Payne didn't know. He gets caught. Payne, big barrel roll through 3 and 4. And there's plenty more piled up. And once again, Matthews gets caught in the melee. Matthews just can't seem to catch a break now. Is in 2 wrecks in 2 laps. We're going to get back to our Team 126 Racing caution once again. We're going to check out the replay, see what happened, but it looked like we had a late dive bomb into turn 3. You can't make that move that late. You better at the position early in the straightaway. Didn't quite see the beginning there, but we had one car jump to the inside. When he jumped to the inside, Payne had no idea they were 3 wide. The spotters are just not going to be that quick. I mean, he had a hundredths of a second to get over radio, tell Payne, and Payne came down the hill thinking we're too wide, gets tagged and ends up barrel rolling. His night might be over. Bad break for Tyler Payne. He's had a rough season 2 here in the American iRacing League. He's one of our favorites to watch. He is the creator of the American iRacing League, which has turned into one of the most popular leagues on the iRacing service. We're only running on Friday nights right now, but eventually we look to extend more and more and keep bringing it to you from Swag TV. Once again, we're going to have Jackson Crowder starting up front here. Looks like Tyler Lester right there in your second position. Brandon Queen has made his way up to 5th, and green flags back out. Crowder not with a good start here. I'm not sure if that's going to go against Lester. Lester kind of jumped it there, and he about gets turned. He gets sent up the hill. Lester saves it. Lester going to pay for that one. He's fallen all the way back to the 6th position there on the outside. He tags him back, but it actually gets him in trouble, and now they're together in the back. We got 3 wide action going for the top 3, though. Yellow flag flies once again. Tyler Lester not happy with that move. We'll have to see just what happened there a little bit further on back out of the camera. The Team 126 racing team getting their money's worth tonight with 3 caution flags in about 4 laps. Well, it looks like when they got stacked up, we had someone lose it there on the inside of the racetrack. It's something that happens is the accordion effect. All get stacked up, and next thing you know, someone gets turned. And right there, actually, seemed to be no stack up. There was plenty of room in front. And somebody impatient ran over the back of another guy. Just apologize, I didn't get to catch their names. Well, we got a lot going on with our leaderboard situation. Guys, this kind of happens when we have these type of yellow flags that don't count laps. It gets the field all jumbled up because it goes back to your last restart. So a lot of times, when it goes back to the last completed lap. So a lot of times, by the time more stuff gets called up, they're still switching positions and whatnot. But it looks like we're going to have Tyler Lester actually big time lucky break. He got his position back all the way up into 2nd position. He'll be starting to the outside once again. Typically, once we go back green flag racing, everything smooths out with the leaderboard. It's just something we got to deal with when these guys are switching up positions under the yellow flag. We come to lap 5 here, getting ready for the green flag once again to fly here in the American iRacing League Series. Jackson Crowder will be sitting in 2nd. We get to stack up 2 by 2 once again. They're keeping a double file here. They do have the option to make these guys go single file. I believe they're getting the field stacked up 1 lap early this time around. Not sure. Looks like Tyler Lester's getting put to the back by our race control. That moves up the entire top row. Not 100% sure why he got sent to the back. He did not end up cause that caution. We'll have to get an explanation from our race control later in the evening if possible. Now we got Crowder once again going to lead the field to this green flag. He gets going right in the beginning of the restart zone, but once again, the 2nd line is moving there. 16, Dustin Momberquet up there in the 4 was pushing Timmy Holmes, and actually we got a surprise contender here. Brandon Queen coming from the back as we got a car dive bombing under the apron there, but he makes it work. That 24 car, Trenton Euro. Brandon Queen now takes over your 2nd position as he starts working on Jackson Crowder in that 03 machine. Brandon Queen, a past champion this past year, and we got another Team 126 racing. Just when it gets started, we get another yellow. Cautions breed cautions here at the Southern National Motorsports Park. It's a track that's very hard to be patient on, very high rhythm, especially with these Legends cars. You're trying to keep the speed up, so when someone cuts your move off and something like that, a lot of times they don't take too kind of that and they take you out. We're starting to see some of that here in American iRacing League tonight. Our guys having a little technical difficulties there, but we get up back with the Team 126 caution. About to go back green flag racing once again in a moment. We've only made it to lap 6. Pretty sure we've had 4 or 5 cautions already. Once again, guys, make sure you hit the notification bell and subscribe to Swag TV and the Swag Simulation World Auto Group. Get caught up with them. We're always showing live races throughout the week. We're planning on growing bigger and bigger as the year goes on. We're brought to you by our partners, ComServe Wireless. Check them out. They got locations all over Virginia. Also got to check out Brandon Godovic. He's a big-time racer, has won in the Lamborghinis before on the road course, has ran Xfinity Series. We wish him good luck here in the Xfinity Series coming up in 2021. We also are here once again to honor Mike Hess Racing. Tonight is the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. It looks like right now they're thinking about sending them single file here for this next restart as the pace car lights are off. Race control had enough of that, said let's get some green flag laps in as lap 7 is complete of 30 laps. Get ready, they're running them high and wide here. Interesting move there by Crowder. He drives down the hill. Now Brendan Queen follows suit. He called onto the trickery and he stays right to the back bumper of Jackson Crowder, about half back. Jackson Crowder is your leader here at Southern National Motorsports Park, as Brendan Queen has ran here in real life several times. I believe Crowder has also. Queen looks to the inside, nearly tags the left rear. Jackson Crowder. Crowder's got to be careful, but definitely has to protect that bottom if he plans on staying in the lead. As we say that, Brendan Queen gets shoved up the racetrack. He's going to fall back possibly to 3rd or 4th after this move. The high side normally does not roll, but Queen trying to stay strong there. He's going to try to get to the bottom here in just a moment, but it looks like he's going to try to maneuver his way around the outside, that 087 machine. So lap 10 down of 30 laps. Brandon Queen drops in the 4th position, pulls down to the bottom of the racetrack. He's going to work back on that Dustin Monberquet machine. Dustin's no slouch. He can drive very, very aggressive, very hard, and get up there and race with the best of them. Brendan Queen's going to have a tough time trying to get by that 16 machine. He'll make it nice and wide for him as we have 18 laps to go here in the American iRacing League. Jackson Crowder sets sail out front. He's got about 10 car lengths over 2nd place. Right now, Jackson Crowder continues to lead this race after early on we had some big developments between Parker Retzlaff and Ryan Matthews. Tag each other a little bit coming off of 4 on the first lap of this race. They were the pole sitter and the outside pole sitters of this evening's race. They got tagged up, called up, and wrecked to the back, and then Matthews got involved again in the 2nd wreck when Tyler Payne went barrel rolling through 3 and 4, as Queen now takes the position from Dustin Monberquet. He's now fitting into the 3rd place. Queen has had one of the faster cars of the night. He was not very good in qualifying, but he's worked his way up from the edge of the top 10 all the way up into that top 3. At one point was knocking on the lead just a moment ago, but he got pushed up to the outside when he tried to make the move under Jackson Crowder, as he actually gets loose into 1. Ends up working in his favor coming out of 2. Got 16 laps down. That's Thomas Axum sitting in 5th there, right behind these guys battling for the top 3. Axum sits steady there in the 5th position. Work our way back here in just a moment. Check out how Joel Smith's doing. Joel Smith worked his way up from 12th after that last caution. Not such an easy night for Parker Retzlaff. Normally, he's one of those guys that even if he gets caught up in a wreck, he can come back through the field. But Retzlaff's still mired in that 12th position after getting caught up in several accidents early in this race. This field isn't like the American iRacing League last season. This season, these guys are well in the 4K iRating range, some of them in the 7,000s. with Jackson Crowder set the tail. He's trying to run away and build a point lead in this Legends Division, brought to you by Dreamer Racing Series. They race 2x2 right now. The 22 machine making moves, and the 24 losing tons of ground there on the outside. There's Joel Smith there, was just making a move there for the top 8 position. He moves up to 8th, and he's going to continue to work on that 09 car. He's on the bottom. He's trying to move up into the top 7 as they get 2 wide behind him. Joel Smith now moves up to the top 7. He's going to start working his way to Bradley Erickson, who is one of the fastest guys in this year's Snowball Derby. We got 8 laps to go here at Southern National. Jackson Crowder still stale in that top position. Doesn't look like anybody's going to have a shot for him before it's over. Seven laps to go. These guys are setting sail out front. Jackson Crowder, Timmy Holmes, 2 of the best in the American iRacing League, running away with this thing. Holmes starting to run down Jackson Crowder here. We'll have to take a look at lap times in just a moment. As for now, we have Jackson Crowder leading Timmy Holmes. Right now, last lap was a 1580 to a 1576 to Timmy Holmes. Holmes just a little bit quicker, about 5/100ths of a second. And now they're dead even coming across the line with Timmy Holmes now running an 80 to Jackson Crowder 79. Holmes doesn't look to have enough just yet to get up to that top position and try to battle for it. Last time by, once again, Crowder quicker by 1/100th of a second. Brandon Queen trying to get up there and fight for that top 3 position, but he's got Thomas Axum right on his tail. As you can see, this field is super tight, as they're all in the 80s, almost through the entire top 10, got a couple in the 90s. But some super tight racing going on through this American iRacing League thus far. We got 1 lap to go. Jackson Crowder looking to take it home. Let me correct that. That was 2 laps to go. We'll be coming to the white flag this time by Jackson Crowder trying to take home the win here in the BC Workshop car. He's driven away thus far. Unless he makes some colossal error, he's going to be your winner tonight in the Dreamer Racing Series 30-lap Legends car race. Jackson Crowder will come home after leading nearly all 30 laps in the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190. He's your first winner for tonight, followed by Timmy Holmes, Brandon Queen, Thomas Axum, and Dustin Momberquet in the 5th position. Bradley Erickson and Joel Smith round out the top 7. Daniel Folds, then Tyler Lester and Trenton Euro rounds out your top 10. That's some great racing. We'll be back in just a moment with your top 3. We'll take some time for our partners. We're back live on Swag TV with the Mike Hess Racing Memorial 190 race. The American iRacing League just finished up their first feature of three. 30 laps goes down. Our top three. We're going to start with Brandon Queen, man. How was your night? Looks like you had to avoid some big trouble early on after Matthews and Parker got together, and then the flip from Tyler Payne. But you come home in third, man. Tell us about your night. You were all over the place throughout the feature.
Yeah, man, I appreciate it. Appreciate y'all putting it on, broadcasting it and everything. Not bad for a last minute ad. Wasn't quite as fast as I wanted to be or used to being, but we got up to the front there off of a couple lucky restarts. And to be honest with you, I just wasn't quite in a rhythm when I was second, which probably cost me valuable track position and back to fourth. But overall, solid first race out with these guys. They're tough, man. Anybody that thinks it's easy, come on and try it, because these guys are good. Congrats to Jackson on the win. And like I said, man, top three ain't too bad, but it could always be better.
Well, man, you put on quite a show coming through the field there. Almost had the position on Crowder there entering one. Looks like he didn't purposely squeeze you. It was kind of tight. Didn't know if you were going to be there or not. And then you got loose and fell back a little bit. You were so close, man, but it was a lot of fun to watch. And say this, you're one of my favorite guys to watch weekly in the regular divisions. I keep an eye on your Facebook page. Cool to have you part of the American iRacing League. Do you plan on running the rest of tonight's features?
I'm definitely planning on it. I got to go eat dinner real quick, but I'm definitely going to see what I can do to run tonight. I appreciate you saying that, man. That's a lot. Means a lot to me to hear the support. And yeah, like I said, tonight, man, getting loose and losing that track position. We were all so close in time. You just can't make that up without a caution. So I appreciate you, man. I appreciate everything. And hopefully we'll be getting a victory interview here tonight.
There you go, man. Well, we'll see you in the next one. I got to say, Brandon Butterbean Queen is a very classy guy. I almost right rear hooked him in the fence trying to cross him last time, actually at this track. So he's a great guy. I called him up after the race, answered the phone. He wasn't mad. We laughed about it, and ever since then, I just had a lot of respect. Good to have you on, and we'll see you in the next feature, man.
Hey, thanks, man. Don't right rear me again.
I'll try not to do it on the broadcast tonight. We'll see what happens. Well, guys, we're back here. Going to run down to our second place finisher, Timmy Holmes, who has been consistently running up front in this AiRL series. Timmy, tell us about your night, man. How'd you end up in the second position?
I'll be honest with you, I messed up my qualifying lap bad and ended up seventh, which wasn't too bad, but definitely had some track position to make up. And once I got up to second, I feel like I was a little bit better than Jackson and ran him down, and then got a little bit tight and barely got into the wall, and I think that cost me.
Seeing there last couple laps, you were just a little bit quicker. We were keeping an eye on the lap times. You were about 5/100ths of a lap quicker, which is quite a bit in the fixed series. It seemed as though Jackson just kept the tires underneath of him for a little bit longer because there were 3 to go. It seemed you evened out and you guys were about the same at the end. Now, what are you planning on being in the late model feature tonight with us?
Yeah, I'll be in the late models, not the supers though, but top three was good. We were hoping to get the win. Me and Jackson were tied in points before this one, so I'm sure he'll be ahead now. But hopefully we can just get another top three in late models.
Well, it's great to have you with us. We look forward to seeing that, and hopefully you get redemption, maybe get up there, get the win. Got to ask you this. So I know you're an iRacing regular. I've seen you several times in the Legend Series and all over the place, and with us in the American iRacing League. Is that your main deal, or do you have racing going on in the outside world, or just trying to make it happen?
I race dirt go-karts in real life, so that's on the weekends. But during the week, I just try to stay on here and just keep racing.
Awesome, man. Well, if you got anybody to thank back at home, let us know. If not, well, good luck in the late models.
I gotta thank BC Workshop and Blake Cisneros, all my teammates. Jackson is one of them. I gotta thank GTR Simulators, and that's about it.
Awesome, man. Well, good to have you. Good luck in the late models. We're going to head on down to Victory Lane where the champagne is flying here on Swag TV in the virtual sense. We got Jackson Crowder winning once again in the American iRacing League. We got to check and see. I believe he's our points leader. If not, he's been running great so far. Jackson, tell us what you did to avoid that first wreck to get that lead early on.
Yeah, I was kind of crazy. I wasn't really expecting all that, but I seen Ryan get loose and just kind of checked up, and I seen he went up the racetrack, and then I was kind of on my toes because the caution didn't come out at first, and they were all lined up behind me, and I knew if I braked where I wanted to for that corner, I was probably gonna get run over, and so I braked just a little bit later and missed the corner, and then well, the caution came out, so kind of lucked into it there. I thought I was about to get killed if caution didn't come out going into one. It's kind of blocking running to the bottom, but it is what it is. Worked out pretty
Yeah,
well.
you have to tell us, man, the difference between high and low lane has got to be big here at Southern National, right?
Yeah, it was pretty big. I was pretty lucky to start in the bottom and then was the leader the rest of the race. Never really had to get on the top or anything.
Yeah, it seems as though the control is definitely to be on the bottom of the racetrack. I've seen some guys giving up positions before the yellow flag came out just to try to get to the bottom. Well, man, I know you're regular with the series. Do you plan on running this feature coming up in the late model series?
Yeah, I'll be in the late models. Hopefully, we're trying to crawl back into the top 5 payouts or whatever for the late models. Didn't even make it to the finish in the first 2, so trying to crawl back into that payouts.
Go, man. Well, we wish you the best of luck. If you got anybody to thank, go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, I gotta thank Blake Cisneros and everybody at BC Workshop and everything, and Timmy for being a great teammate. He was definitely a little bit better than I was, but I might have just been a little more consistent and had the track position. But yeah, that GTR simulators and Chris Harris at Track Tech, tire treatments.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll see you in just a moment with the late model series. That's our top 3 finishers. Congrats to Jackson Crowder. We wish him luck in the next event. We'll be back in just a moment with Swag TV for the late model series. We'll see you in 5. We're back live on Swag TV for the Mike Hess Racing Memorial One. I'm our break. Steel part of the menu. No, okay. Back with me. We just have a little microphone malfunction. Hopefully you guys can hear me loud and clear, but we got Parker Retzlaff once again is one of your top times here in practice. He's followed by Timmy Holmes and Ryan Matthews, kind of the same names once again. Followed by Dustin Mobrequet, who finished 4th in that first race, and then Trayton Lapsovich. Entire top 5 there stretched within 1/10 of a second. We're going to try to catch up with my friend Eric Steele in just a moment here. Eric, tell me when we got you.
I think I got this problem figured out. How you guys doing tonight?
Good, man. How are you? How was that first race? You had to ensue a lot of madness. It seemed like a ton of cautions, and then all of a sudden green flag the rest of the way.
Oh my God, everybody was anxious to get some laps in tonight, but nobody could get past the first lap in the book, so had to pull out the old single file restart after the fifth caution in a row. From there it was smooth sailing. Hopefully we don't see a repeat performance of that here around race number 2.
Well, typically after they get the first race jitters down, we got a lot of the same field that runs in this race. They clean it up a little bit. You know, we've had those issues here and there, whether it was this league or any other league. It just seems as though guys get anxious early in the night. Those first 10, 15 laps take forever, then all of a sudden you bust out a 30 or a 40 lap run, and you're like, when's the green or when's the yellow going to come out? I'm sweating here.
Yeah, you got a little bit of lack of practice with session. Setups coming out on the Friday, so nobody can spend like 100 hours because they're not doing anything through the day, getting to jump on the rest of the week. So it's kind of a field equalizer, not releasing the setup until the bitter end. But at the same time, what that does for you is nobody's really comfortable. Hopefully, they've got some laps on the track, so they got the configuration figured out. So
Yeah, I don't know if you were a part of the Winter National event, but we had weeks and weeks and weeks to practice for that one. We still had the first 10 laps were yellow, yellow, yellow. I don't know if you watched it or you're part of it. I can't remember, but it seems as though when we come to Southern National, it's, you know, single file track on the bottom, or sorry, the lane on the bottom seems to be the way to go. And these guys on the top start to run out the patience and start coming down. And when you get that position, you take it.
Oh no, for sure. I was in the AiRL Winter National race, and I was a victim of one of those early cautions that ended my day. So I know all about it. I practice with these guys on the regular. I've had my late model out here early on in testing. The line in the late model, not nearly the same, not even close to being driven the same as a Legend. So there is going to be that factor that the guys from the first race are going to have to overcome. You have to drive the corner completely different in the late model.
Well, we do see a lot of guys out here struggling to keep the car on the racetrack. Actually, I think we're on board you. I'm not 100%, but we're, you know, trying to get our paints loaded in a little bit better than they are tonight. But just having a little issues with trading paint. But, you know, we're catching up. But you got to tell us, I know you're in the RC world big time. You got to tell us about some of the names on your car.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, we're rolling out of the pits right now onto the speedway in the Speedball Bearings car number 32. Speedball Bearings is a company that I own with a partner of mine. We provide extremely efficient bearings for the race cars that we race. Literally can take a set of standard bearings, take them out, put our bearings in, and pick up at least a 1/10 of a lap right out of the package. Formula and bearing design that I came up with a few years ago has been really spectacular. As far as my horsepower goes, a company called East Coast Oval, which is actually an iRacing / RC guy, Tyler McKinney, is the co-owner of that company. They know how to get maximum efficiency out of all of our electronic RC car parts. And then, of course, my Barrytown RC Hobbies, my local track, my hobby shop. I can't thank them enough for keeping my cost of operation as low as possible. And on the quarter panels, you see ovalworks.com. Ovalworks is my chassis manufacturer. I've been working hand in hand with the owner of Ovalworks for several years now, coming up with the latest and greatest next best thing. This winter, I will be focusing on our redesign of our rubber tire car for the 2022 season.
I had no idea that you were that involved with all your sponsors. That's pretty cool. I got to say this, just listening to you talk about it, it sounds like you put in just as much into the RC side as I do in my Legends card program. It's like it's just another addiction I don't need to have. So maybe I need to stay away from you, Eric. What do you think?
Well, you know what I said when I hung up the full-size steering wheel years ago was, I raced 10th scale cars and it cost me a tenth of the price, and we all know what it costs to go to the real racetrack week in and week out. So I could probably race these things till I'm blue in the face and not come close to spending the kind of money that it takes to compete for all the fans on a weekly night at your local short track.
Well, I can say this, you probably smell a whole lot better at the end of an RC racing night than when you do when you get out of the full-size car, and you don't have to quite run home and grab the shower, and you're probably not hurting as bad the next day either, unless maybe you guys probably have a little extracurricular activity with the old beer or alcohol, whatever your choice is. But the RC series, I know that's something that's been getting bigger and bigger, and actually one of the guys I used to race against, Frank Denny, he's big into it. I've seen some of these cars, man. He's got a car that looks like a 410 sprint car. It's like, that thing's freaking awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely advanced through the times. All of our chassis are made out of carbon fiber, and we're testing different thicknesses and different mat materials, and anything that can give us an edge over the other companies that are out there. We're always striving for the best. It's science, and it's science to the 10th scale, which means you need to be 10 times more accurate than you do on your big cars. So it's definitely a workout for the mind. And you're right. After the race day is over, there's not a better crowd to hang out with in the RC community. Generally, whatever town we're in, there's got to be an Applebee's somewhere. It's always after 9 o'clock. The half-priced apps and the dollar margaritas, they come in clutch. It's like our staple. It's our diet. This coming weekend that we're going to roll into next week is the big national event that we all attend yearly. COVID's going to keep a bunch of us from attending this year, but the majority of the RC Oval World descends on Orlando, Florida for a week-long event that starts on Thursday, and that draws up to 1,000 different entries across all the divisions, and the racing does not stop for 24 hours for 7 days a week.
Wow, that's like your guys' version of Speed Weeks. I love it. Which, speaking of, we got some big time action coming up this weekend with the 24 hours. They just got done with the 24 hours of iRacing. It's some pretty cool stuff that they have involved here on the iRacing service. Speaking of, Eric, what's your favorite car on iRacing? I'm just curious.
You know, I come from my 1-to-1 scale racing is a metric GM chassis. We call them Flying Tigers up here at the Thunder Road level. They're street stocks or hobby stocks, wherever you want to call them across the country. So street stocks are my go-to. That's the level of which I stopped racing at in the 1-to-1 scale, the limited late model, whatever you want to call it. So I'm right in between these late models that we're about to run here in the street stocks. And then my dad grew up racing dwarf cars, and I got to wheel his cars. So legends are also a great thing. Super speedways and the big cars, not so much. I like the short track stuff.
I'm with you on that. It's the short track is the key for me. And when we're, maybe I'm a little biased because I did run Legends and late models at the Old Dominion Speedway and really all over the East Coast through my whole career. Um, I'm probably pretty biased, but I love the Legends and the late models. Either one, late models not to me not quite the perfect simulation. I feel like there's a lot more throttle control in a real life late model than they have implemented on here, but that is the only difference. I mean, they're very, very close in the way they drive. The Legends, same thing. They're just as twitchy in real life. Like, it's so funny. I'll be laughing like, oh, this game's unrealistic or this simulation's unrealistic, whatever they say. The Legends are just, there's no way they're this twitchy. I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, wait till you sit in one. If you think this is crazy, wait till you're in a real one and the thing's shaking under your butt. And every single bump, you can feel it, man. And Old Dominion they had more grass on that racetrack than asphalt. So we had a lot of bumping and, a lot of bumps and rough racetrack to deal with those cars. So it was funny when we took that Legends car somewhere else. We're like, man, this track's smooth, and everybody else was complaining about how bumpy it was. We were cracking up. We're like, man, wait till you go to Old Dominion, it'll rattle your teeth out. So anyway, just big fan of the Legends cars, and it's definitely a driver's car in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. And speaking of favorites, we'll talk about favorite tracks. You know, this Southern National Motorsports Park that we're on here tonight is very good similarity to my local Thunder Road International Speed Bowl in Vermont. And then, you know, on the simulator, we do have the Oxford Plains Speedway, which is just a couple hours east of me from where I'm at, which I'm familiar with, and I've been on that surface before, and that feels really realistic as well.
Yeah, I will say the thing that's the closest is the tracks itself. You know, it's hard to replicate a car too, and they do a great job with that. But it seems as though they nail the track surfaces because between I've raced Rich Richmond, South Boston, and Southern National all in real life. I haven't raced Langley, but I'm told it's very similar. It needs a rescan, they're saying, but um, you know, it's just amazing. Like Southern National drives just like this in real life. You're either coming up off of two and extremely happy with that car, or you're scared to death. You think you're going to plow turn two fence down and rip the right front off the car, but you're flying around that track. Just something I really enjoy here on iRacing Services, being able to kind of get that experience like I did back when I was in the car full time.
Yeah, once a racer, always a racer, and we're always itching to get back behind that seat. For sure. I know I've got a lot of people around me that are still into it heavy. I have the opportunity to go to the racetrack week in and week out and hang out with those people, and I'm sure that there's somebody that would be willing to stick me in a car if I said, "Hey, I'm feeling crazy tonight. Anybody got a ride?" And you know, I know that the itch is there, and if I scratch it just a little bit, I'm going to be right back into it full time. And quite frankly, I'm happy with my radio control car, and I'm happy with my iRacing life, especially the iRacing life, because I'm sitting here in my race car, in my race room, in my house. And once I'm done, I'm 30 seconds to my bedroom, and it's lights out.
That is the best part. And I know what you mean by scratchy itch, and I definitely do plenty of that because you know, I'd probably have a really nice wife with a big diamond ring and a beautiful big house, but instead I got race cars and a big shop behind my house instead. And it's definitely worth it to me. But it's definitely a big money pit, and that's what's nice about the iRacing thing. Like you said, you're able to just affordably kind of scratch the itch. It's not quite the same, but you're able to get a lot out of it as you do in the real world. And you can talk to your friends while doing it, sometimes your enemies, which is kind of crazy. They put us all on the same mics. I think that's absolutely insane because you can yell at whoever wrecked you. But things like that, it's just you can't repeat the ability to do that from your own home and then walk, like you said, straight to bed and chill out for the rest of the night. Those guys out there thinking about getting iRacing definitely need to check it out. And heck, if you happen to come across my Facebook post, I got a Logitech G27 for sale. Just figure I'll throw that plug in there for you. But it's an easy way to get started in iRacing is getting an item like a Logitech G27 or their G29, and they have several other products, but also the Thrustmaster. We all started somewhere. It's a good way to start. It works for your Xbox and your PS4, whatever you need it for. You're able to do it for that and your PC. So I highly recommend if you guys are thinking about getting an iRacing, really not that expensive. You just need to get a decent computer, a decent steering wheel, and a monitor, and you're ready to rock. And you can kind of get that feeling like you're these guys at right here, Homestead Truck Series, running up on that high, wide wall, you know, just like they do in the trucks and the cup cars. Pretty cool stuff.
Yeah, no, for sure. Shout out to the guys at Logitech for making an entry level system. That's what got me hooked on the iRacing, and you know, from my mentality of all the other stuff that I've done, you know, I couldn't just leave it alone. So we went from the G920 strap to a gaming desk to this full-blown sim experience motion rig surrounded by 43-inch TVs. It's quite unique, man. I'm telling you, I'm just getting this thing dialed in and getting my sensitivities set right, and the realism is starting to show its head real well. Uh, it is awesome what you can do if you want to.
Yeah, that's for sure. I've seen that rig, man. It is absolutely beautiful, and it's definitely probably one of your prized possessions. It's I've gotten to run on one motion rig ever, and I know the guy sells them for $20,000 a piece. That's how high end his was the Crimson Simulation stuff over here in Mooresville, and that thing. So before we went back racing at Dominion Raceway. It had been about 2 years hiatus I took. Hadn't been in a late model or a legend or nothing, no practice or anything. And I call this guy at Crimson, said, look, this is my situation. Tell him he charges me an hourly price, helps me out a little bit. I go over there, I put nearly 1,000 laps in on a simulator, and I'm calling my dad after. I'm like, you have no idea. I said, man, I want to get you down here and sit on this. He'd probably get motion sickness and throw up. But I said, man, you got to get on this thing. It's unbelievable. It feels like you're sitting in a car. You get done, you got arm pump going through your arms because of how tight the steering is. Your legs are tired. Feels like you've been almost like you got that G-force feeling, even though that's the only thing that seemed to be missing for me was the G-forces, but still it was shaking and you could feel everything. So anyway, that's a shout out to some friends back home here at Crimson Simulation. And we got I did that 1,000 laps in that sim. And then we went up to Dominion Raceway, and another shout out to Dave Moon. He put together a heck of a late model for me. And we go up. I qualified 8th, but I was good enough to probably qualify top 5 with the way the car was set up. Just missed my lap a little bit. I ended up in the top 2 and running for the lead in my first race ever back in a late model for 2 years because of simulation like this. So it's kind of amazing what you have there can do for you in the real world.
Oh no, for sure. It's absolutely magnificent. It's been great talking with you, Dave. I got to jump over into the session and give the drivers meeting here. We look forward to talking to you after this, and we'll give you the recap.
That's Eric Steele. Thanks for joining us, man. I appreciate you talking us through the break here a little bit. We'll have late model action coming to you in just a moment, and I'll be back in probably 2-3 minutes. We'll be back live with the late models.